Hi, today we're going to be talking about your organizational health. And why is that so important? Organizational health is very important because it's a key indicator to how healthy your organization is, how much money you're making, if you could be making more. So, even if there's a good cash flow, can you be really making much more? Do you even have a good cash flow? Are you always putting out fires? When I gave this out as a webinar, the topic was, are you constantly putting out fires? Because many managers, a very high percentage, are constantly dealing with emergencies, things that are happening and coming up, and are in reactive mode instead of in proactive mode. And organizational health moves you from being reactive to proactive. So welcome, and I'm very excited to speak to you here today. I'm Ahuva Fisher. I have over 12 years experience in tech, design, and leadership, managing and setting up startups, marketing firms, agencies, and smaller businesses. I have some experience in all of those. I worked with companies amongst different industries as well. And my focus is helping companies have better messaging clarity, better systems, help them reach their goals without running out of funding, without overusing their budgets and resources and constant oversight. So you could take a step back and let your organization run because you know you set things up correctly. And I'm here to help you run and lead smarter, not just work harder. The structure here today is going to be what is a healthy business, what it's not, so common misconceptions, how to spot chaos in your business, why it matters, the cost of misalignment, and do you really need this? So we're going to assess your business together here and what to do next, your first steps if you want to make a change, a difference, um, and then you can be in touch with any questions. So, what is organizational health? What is a healthy organization? A healthy organization, and most companies are going to be somewhere on the spectrum for each of these, is a company where the sales are consistent and predictable. You know when they come in. You could have ups and downs, but you should know what the time of years are for you. Your marketing produces measurable ROI. You're not just constantly marketing and not knowing what's coming back. Every hire you make is a good fit and it contributes to your company in a meaningful way. Your team is aligned with the company values, so you're not on different pages trying to get people on your side. Your goals are met, your projects are delivered on time, you know what is happening without needing to micromanage, and you know your yearly cash flow cycle. All of these are things that indicate a very healthy organization. Most companies are somewhere on the spectrum. For some of these are better and some of these are not. And our goal is to identify what those are so that then you could focus on them and build a better organization. Common myths about organizational health. Um, is it about nice culture? No, we believe very, very strongly in treating every employee very well and having a nice work environment. But the goal is not a nice culture. That's a means to a different end, which is a better organization for you. It's not how busy you are or about hustling. Many entrepreneurs or startups are constantly busy, 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 grinding wheels over and over and over again. That's not necessarily an indicator that that's what you should be doing. It's not about HR policies. You can have great policies in place, but from there to a healthy organization, there's still a big gap. And it's not about the tools you use. So I'll meet companies. They'll be like, "How are your operations?" Our operations are great. Yeah, we just implemented Monday. We're still learning how to use it. We spend hours on it every day. So you might have the right tool in place, but that's not necessarily organizational health. And like I said, it's a scale. Most companies excel at some of these. There's a reason you're doing what you're doing. You're good at a lot of these things, but not all. There's we're gonna go area by area, and I'm gonna give you some key points, and you can self-assess where you are on the scale for each area in your company's organizational health. Okay, let's start with messaging. This is often an area that's addressed last, and that's why it keeps on getting missed, but it's actually very important and affects every area in your organization in ways that we don't may not realize. What is messaging? Messaging is what you do and what you're passionate about, and how that reflects into everything else you do. The words you use, the message, the language that you use, your branding, it comes out in your sales, it comes out in every area, really, in who you hire, how you hire. All that is your outside face of your organization. And how do you know if your messaging is good? If, or how about, how do you know if you have where to work on your messaging? If your sales are not flowing, the core root problem could be in your messaging. If the marketing efforts are not responding as expected, okay, you're marketing, you're spending tons of money, huge marketing budgets, but they're not paying back, or at least not as you expected. You might get comments and likes on your posts. You might have millions of followers, but you're not actually getting clients or sales through it. If clients reach out, but never, if clients reach out but end up ghosting you or never coming back, or if people call and think you do something else all the time, then there's something in your messaging that's a red flag about your messaging. If people don't know what you do, I saw someone recently said she was at a conference and she realized people don't know what she does. So I'm sure a lot of people do know what she does, but that would be something I would check messaging. For nonprofits, if you're not managing to connect with the right fundraising opportunities, that could be a messaging thing. So if you have any of these red flags, I would go back to your messaging to reach high organizational health. Client satisfaction. Again, this is something we do talk about a lot. There is a lot of awareness, but it's key. If your clients are returning, you're not just getting new clients, but your clients are coming back and your clients are referring you onwards, that's high level client satisfaction. If you're only getting new clients, you're not able to keep your old clients, then that's a red flag. And keeping old clients is essential because to purchase a new client is way more expensive than to keep and maintain a client. So you want to always put emphasis on your existing clients more than on your new clients, assuming you have them. And you want to make sure that they're happy enough that they're referring you onwards. If not, you have a red flag about your organizational health. Company culture. Are your employees happy? Are your employees unhappy? Do you know if your employees are happy? If you don't know, you're not in touch with them, possibly. That is a red flag about your company culture and about your organizational health. If you have high employment churn, you're always hiring, you're always spending time and money interviewing and hiring, that's a red flag. Not necessarily about the culture, it could also be about something else, but that's a red flag about your organizational health in general. And that is a very expensive for an organization. It's a quiet resource that could really suck an organization's energy, money, and time to constantly hire and train new people. Just like we said, it's cheaper to keep a client, it's cheaper to keep an employee, even if it takes a raise, even if it takes treating them much better and giving them much more, because just a training process and everything that you lose in between and that overlap from the old employee to the new employee is such a burden on any organization. So high employment churn is something you want to avoid, and it's a red flag. If it's hard to hire, I once worked at a company in a specific role. I'm specifically not mentioning what it is, and it was like a challenging role from this specific organization. And I found out later, while I was still working there, that apparently they have a bad reputation for this role in the company because they're always hiring for it, and people are constantly leaving because the way they manage the specific role in management. And it's a red flag, and it made a lot of sense to me because it should be hard for them to hire because they weren't managing it correctly and they were losing a lot of money and a lot of good talent. Remember, we want to be great. We're always want to be kind, great people and treat our employees nicely. But in this context, it's not only about the employee, but it's a real indicator to your own business and to your own profit options and your own potential. So it's a two-way street. If you treat your employees really well, they'll treat you back really well. You can't expect to go one way. And if that's not happening on either end, again, red flag, let's assess. Projects. What's a project? What a project can depend based on what your business is in, what area you're in. It depends on your industry. So, a project could be a website, it could be a software, it could be selling a house, it could be a fundraising project, it could be many, many things. If you're late on project delivery, or projects are not profitable as expected, or you don't know how profitable projects are, each employee, or if employees don't know what they're supposed to be doing, they come in the morning and you every day need to give them what to do, or they're not working what they should be working, and or you don't know what they're being measured by. If you don't to measure employees by any of these are indicators to something in your project flow or something else in your organizational health, and we want to fix that. Workload. Again, this is very closely related to projects and to hiring, but if your team is overly busy or never has enough work, your tasks are taking much longer than expected. You allocate 3 days, it takes 2 weeks. It sounds extreme, but this really happens in a lot of companies. This is a red flag, not necessarily on the people doing them, but on your flow and on the organization. Um, if the task outcome is not as expected, you gave someone a job and they gave back something totally different, that's a red flag. Again, not a red flag on the person doing the job, but on something in your workflow. If no one seems to own anything, unless you follow up, again, red flag in the way projects are managed and in your workload. That's something you want to fix because obviously it's costing a lot. So those are the main areas you look at for organizational health, and I hope you scored really high on all of them. Most people, like we said, score high on some and low on others, and that's okay because we're here to work on things. Question is, why does it matter? So there's a silent cost to dysfunction. A company could look like it's running. It could be churning projects, churning sales, busy, 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 hustling. However, if these things are not in place correctly, you're losing a lot of time on miscommunication and work that's done twice or more. You're missing a lot of growth opportunities because you're focusing more on putting out fires instead of growing. So you might be okay, but imagine where else you could reach. There's so much more potential. High client churn rate, that's really a big killer for companies. Higher hiring, marketing, operational costs. These are costs that could be brought down. It doesn't have to cost you so much. We could bring them down with better organizational health. Founder and CEO burnout. I don't have to tell you how challenging that could be. We come in with lots of energy, very excited, but 2 years in or 6 months in, everything's like just working, but you're burnt out. That could be fixed. On the flip side, when you do have organizational helps, it lets you live the dream. That CEO you wanted to be, that entrepreneurial life that you wanted. There's predictability in your performance and in your costs and revenue. You have faster and smarter decision making. When something comes up, you have the tools in place and the systems in place to make a decision, to prioritize. Your marketing will actually work and it doesn't break your budget because it should be growing your income and not fluctuating it. Projects reach their finish line and on time, and a company that runs smoothly even without you constantly being involved. You could step away, go away for a few days, not always answering the phone. These are all some of the outcomes of a healthy organization and it enables you to do all these things. Do you really need to focus on this? That's up to you. Ask yourself, do I want to scale without chaos? Do I want to hire without hesitation? Do I want to plan for low seasons with confidence? Do I want a better performance with less micromanagement? If you do, this is not a luxury. It's a foundation for a good company and you can reach it. I'm going to give you some key things that you could start working on today. So, what to do next? Okay, I'm going to go one by one. There's a lot here. You could screenshot it. Start observing, not just reacting. So, you see these things in your company, you're not sure if you have them, you don't know where you're on the scale, or you do. Take a step back and observe. Watch what people are doing, watch what people are saying, listen to them without being judgmental, without giving advice, without answering or criticizing. Just observe and watch your company. Be an observer. Look where the chaos shows up most often. Is it in the hiring? Is it in your deadline? Is it in your team communication, in your client delivery? Then talk to your team. Ask them what's unclear, what's frustrating them. You could learn so much from people on the ground. It's the salespeople often that could tell you that the website's slow because they're getting that feedback. They're trying to show it to people on, and they'll be like, oh, it doesn't load on a smartphone. I get that. So you want to speak to the people on the ground and hear them out. You come in open minded. If you really want to get really good advice, you don't have to pay some big guru to come into your company. You just listen to people on the ground and get so much valuable information, tips, advice because they really know your company. You have to come in the open minded and not judgmental, and they shouldn't feel like this is risk because they're here to help you if you're open to getting that help. That's the first step of just understanding, observing. Then you want to figure out what your why is. Why are you doing what you're doing? That's the core behind all your messaging that we spoke about. What drives you? What's important to you? That will help you prioritize. That will help you put things in place. Know who to hire. All that are connected to what your why is. Track what's unclear. If no one owns something or if it keeps on falling through the cracks, you want to know what are those things that are not clear and don't have a system in place or don't have answers. So if I'm talking to a business that's in, let's say, the marketing and they have policies in place for most things, what are those 20% things that they don't have policies in place? We want to put those in place to really ease a lot of the stress on the company. Don't fix everything at once. As long as you're growing, you want to go upwards, one small thing at a time to do it right so that it sticks and not just, okay, there's a big overhaul that could cause trauma in itself to an organization. Take one thing at a time, just like in life. You want to grow, you want to improve, you want to be better, and focus on one area at a time. You could try to figure out either what are the low hanging fruits, things that are easier to fix, or like bringing someone in could often be one of those low hanging fruits, like delegating. Sometimes it could be letting go of people that have a negative impact on your company. That could be a low hanging fruit. That doesn't take a lot. You could do that first. Otherwise, you could try to think what is the most hard priority thing. So if your clients are constantly complaining about something, that should be the first thing you want to work on, even if it takes more effort. So choose one thing and focus on that. If you want support, there are many people out there that help, that are professionals out there that can help. I too would be very happy to get on a call with you and go through these areas and see where you're holding and try to work together to help you grow. You could screenshot this, be in touch. My website is ahuvafisherconsultant.com. My email address is ahuvafisher@gmail.com or ahuva@ahuvafisherconsultant.com. And this is my calendar link if you want to book a call for a consultation. Have a great day and happy working.